Hello. Today we are coming to you from Mining Indaba 2022, and with me I have Bokang Kalepa, who's the Managing Director of Baletsema Mining Services, and we're here to talk about technology and specifically automation. Bokang, thank you for joining me today. I guess the pertinent question is Africa ready for automated vehicles?
Hi, Jared. It's nice meeting you again. I mean, it's what, 2 years later now?
Yep.
And we are literally now, it's only now that you are getting back to this kind of live interactions. And I must say, I had missed interaction. This whole visual thing wasn't working quite well for me. So the question that you are asking about Africa being, or even South Africa in general, being ready for automation, I can say what happened with COVID, it literally made sure that we get fast-paced when it comes to the automation thing. I mean, all of us, we used to think it's a distant dream that shouldn't happen. But when COVID hit, and when they said now we have to reduce the number of people who are coming to work, number of footprint at the mines and all that, it literally said, if such a thing had to happen again or occur again, would we be ready for it? And you see that now being fast-tracked to say we would really like this to happen because we don't now find ourselves unprepared, shall it happen again. But then if you look at, I've just been observing the trend. You look at Australia that has been having driverless trucks for quite some time now. I mean, if you look at Pilbara, you look at Perth, you look at your relating to what they've been doing. They've been having driverless trucks for a while. But you look at South Africa in general now, you only find the drill rigs and a dozer there and there. So we are ready, but then there's still a lot of things that are also standing on our way. And I don't think in terms of being the benefactors, meaning the ones who are designing, who are bringing the technology, it's not us, And you also look at the beneficiaries. Are we the one who are benefiting in terms of this? I don't think so, in a sense that our unemployment rate is quite high. I mean, we're standing at 35%. Unemployment rate. I mean, if you take that up, and about 65% of it is youth, plus minus. And if you look at that in numbers, it's nice when you talk about it in percentages. We're talking about 8 million people that are unemployed, and 8 million people who are actively seeking employment. We're not talking about those ones who are not actively seeking it. That's a huge number. Out of 60 million South Africans, I mean, 8 million of them that are basically looking for employment. Are we ready for that in terms of being the beneficiaries of this? I personally don't think we are, And we've got a tendency of rushing into the first world solutions. And one of those is when people talk about the Paris Agreement, where they want us to stop mining, coal by 2030, net zero targets and all these kind of things. But for each and every solution that gets brought to the table, there should have been a problem to solve. And that is why I want us to talk about the why. Why are we doing something in the first place? So why do you want to automate it in the first place? Especially with the statement that I've already made or that I've already put on the table that we are standing with the issue of unemployment in South Africa. So let's just quickly go back to Australia. Why did they have to automate in the first place? And they started on the western side of Western Australia. If you look at it, why did they have to automate? There were reasons. It wasn't just only about productivity, For South Africa, when you're going to be talking about automation, one reason that I can just think of at this moment, it's health and safety. That's the first thing that comes into my head. You know what I mean? Then we can follow with environment and other things. But Australia, if you look at them, they started with the extreme weather conditions. There were issues with water and also electricity. I mean, it rings a bell. South Africa, you've got a lot of load shedding here, There were issues of human capital as well. There were issues also with human capital. What is the South Africans' why? Well, those solutions that are from the first world countries, are they going to be solving our problems? In that sense, I don't think we're ready. Number two, are we the ones who are designing this technology? No, we aren't. Most of it, it's imported, And I wouldn't even say we should blame other countries. We should be blaming ourselves as the country. If you look at your Australia, if you look at your North America, you look at your Europe, those people, they invest up to 47.5% of their GDP into research and development. Are we doing that? You know, we got back in 2018. If you're going to be comparing that 47.5% and you check what we're doing in the sub-Saharan Africa, it was only 0.8% of our GDP that is invested on the research and development. 0.8%. Versus other countries that are already far ahead of us, your China, your Europe, they are on 47.5%, up to 47.5% of the GDP that is being invested in the research and development. So you look into whether are we also preparing ourselves to be benefactors? We're not. The beneficiaries, are we also going to be the ones who are going to be able to operate this technology, or are we going to find ourselves having to import skills to come and, you know, help us with this? It's a problem, you know what I mean? Are we ready as South Africa? Not yet. There's still a lot that has to be done. We're talking about the clean energy as well. You look into that. Are we ready as South Africa? And you start talking about the companies that are basically in the forefront of the clean energy. When you speak to them, when you go deeper, you realize that, you know, it's a big company out of the country that is basically bringing its technology in South Africa.
But I want to ask you, Bokang, you know, you're mentioning importing the technology, importing the skills, but don't you think policy and regulation also has something to do with this as well?
And that has always been my problem. And I suppose it's still going to be a problem for a while, where we find ourselves with the aging government. Now we're going into politics. You understand what I'm saying? I've been to Rwanda, and you look at Rwanda, if you look to Rwanda itself, you look at the oldest people there, will be the president and the vice president. Yes. Number two, now when you look at Rwanda, each and every person who's leading the portfolio, they understand what they're doing in terms of they're experts in that whole thing. We've had issues in South Africa where a finance minister was somebody we're not expecting to be a finance minister. You know, those kind of things, they set us back by far. You look at also the age factor. Are they keeping up with the times? No, that's not the case. I don't think that's, you know, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, in South Africa, the technology is ahead, but the legislation is lagging. Why is that? You know, the drones, the regulations now, are they properly regulated at this moment? Even at this moment, the drones regulations are not yet there, but the drones are already here and they're already operating. Yeah. So we find a situation where all the times the technology is ahead and the legislation is lagging. We need to work a lot on that. Okay. A lot. So is there anything that we've put in place now in terms of the automated trucks, automated drills? Shall there be an accident or an incident? Will we be ready to investigate it? Do we have controls in place from the regulation point of view that to say, if you're going to be operating this is what's going to happen? I keep up to date with the mine health and safety regulation. I've got my own MHS logbook or logbook. But there isn't much that is being said. There isn't anything that is actually being said on automation. Clearly by that, you can see that we are lagging.
Okay. So then one final question for you, Bokang. What needs to happen? Because there's no doubt that automation has its benefits. It makes mining safer, it makes it more productive. I understand what you're talking about from the labor force side of things, but we need to get some sort of combination that works. So what needs to happen to ensure that we can move ahead with automation in the mining sector?
It still goes back to the why. And our only why for us that I feel that it's valid at this moment here, it's safety. It's honestly safety. Yeah. Anything else, anything that says we're going to be discarding the jobs, we shouldn't allow it. And as much as we say, I mean, this whole selling point of technology to say we're just moving the skills, there's other people who are going to be doing the work in. It's going to require less people to do that kind of work. If you're going to be talking about automation, you can have one person running a whole fleet of trucks at one shift. Why do you want to cut a job of 10 people into one? We wouldn't want to be doing that. You know, we wouldn't want to be doing that. And my issue, like I'm saying to you, we're not the one who are making this technology. It's from outside. So we're not going to be the benefactors of the technology. Beneficiaries, yes, with training, indeed, we can be able to operate the technology up to this far. So I'm okay with that. So from my side, I felt that what needs to happen now moving forward is let's invest in those safety-related technology for us to even going underground deeper on your gold mines. I mean, there's a lot of seismicity there where we've got a lot of fall of ground where we get to even lose people, you know, on rock best. So it's fine. Let's go there in that route. But anywhere else where we don't have a strong why we are trying to accomplish the introduction of automation, then there shouldn't be any rush.
Understood.
At all, I don't think there should be any rush. And look, I'm glad when you look at the latest truck that you're talking about now, I thought there's gonna be, everyone is just talking about it, it's on the media, it's everywhere. Even Mining Review Africa did show the story now. But then there wasn't any saying of automation there. There's a lot of voices at this moment. People are talking about 4IR and now also we are talking about the clean energy. Good stuff, but they didn't say much about automation. Let's focus on one thing at a time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bokang Kalepa, MD of Baletsema Mining Services, once again, great chatting to you and thank you for your time.